Anyone can say anything at any time, just like anyone can sue for anything at any time. That does not lend it credence, validity, etc. I have talked to several people who have spoken to Mr. Wrights at various times. He has evidently told those people either that he did not make the comments now being attributed to him, or that he does not want to talk about whether or not he made those comments at this time. As I said, prior to the allegation, or prior to the complaint filed by Catherine Wrights, I had no discussions with Mr. Wrights on that topic, so he has no idea what I did or did not say. Certainly.
Okay. Okay. My question is, this is on the agenda as a discussion item and as a discussion item only. My understanding is because it's on the agenda as a discussion item, really it's not something we can even vote on tonight. It would have to be placed on the agenda as a votable item, isn't it right?
Well, when this nonsense began arising in April, we called a special meeting. There was no resolution or ordinance or anything on our agenda that night, and we had a quite lengthy meeting to make a determination of merit, no merit, or what's the other?
It's merit doesn't have merit, or determine that the complaint has sufficient merit to warrant further investigation.
Yes.
I can read that again.
Go ahead, please.
What you have to do tonight is to decide, and I'm quoting here from your ethics code, the governing body shall either determine that the complaint has merit, determine that the complaint does not have merit, or determine that the complaint has sufficient merit to warrant further investigation.
Okay, I guess my question would be, this is not an ordinance, it is not a resolution, which means it is not an item that we would normally, if it were placed on our agenda as a discussion item in any other form, any other piece of business, we wouldn't be allowed to vote on it.
Well, you voted on it under these circumstances before.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's my question. Is this the proper procedure? So I'm asking.
The decision is, has merit, has no merit, or has sufficient merit to warrant further investigation. And I'm telling you there is not an iota or ounce of merit to this.
It was not a resolution.
Yeah.
Well, here's my question. My question is this. This is the first time I've been shown some of these phone records and different other memos and what have you. What is the deal with these phone calls going to the Wrights home just days before this issue came up?
You're out of order, ma'am. Thank you. I received a written document from Ms. Wrights via a third party that was many pages long and contained many allegations of improprieties in the city workplace. I immediately contacted the city attorney and said, we have a problem and I'm not sure what to do. I'm coming to your office. I left my office in the middle of a workday and took this document that I had received to the city attorney. I did not even want to transmit it electronically because of some of the bluntness contained in it. The city attorney read it and said, this is not something as mayor that you can ignore. You have been made aware of this, but you are not the proper person to deal with these type of issues. You need to contact this woman and you need to point her toward the personnel manual, and you need to ask her if she is making a formal complaint, and if so, you need to direct her toward the appropriate parties outlined in the personnel manual, which I believe, and I'm working from memory here, so I could be wrong, includes your direct supervisor. She said that was not a possibility in this case. Your department head, she said that was not a possibility in this case because that was who she had the complaints against. I believe the policy also allows the personnel director to receive such complaints. For whatever reason, Ms. Wrights did not feel comfortable approaching the personnel director with that. I believe the two remaining parties that it could be directed to were the city manager and the city attorney. So I pointed Ms. Wrights to that section of the code and asked her if this were to become a formal complaint that she would need to follow the policy, and to my knowledge that's what she did.
I appreciate you sharing that. Here's kind of where I'm at on this that's in front of me right now. Well, let me first say I am very weary of investigations. I'm very weary of phone calls telling me all kinds of stuff, allegations of all sorts, and not just from the parties right here, but from many, many, many employees in the city calling each other scumbags and everything else, and I'm real tired of that. And I wish everybody would get back to work with integrity and go about doing their job properly and get about the city's business. All that said, that now that I'm looking at this, I really need, and I just now got it, I need to look back at the various dates that all of this occurred and the dates of this phone record. And there's two of these numbers are blacked out. I need to find out what that means. And then I can answer that question that you have asked about whether it has merit, whether it doesn't have merit, whatever. So that's where I'm at on it. I don't know if anybody else had time to study this or not.
I guess that's kind of the dilemma that we're in. We really don't know enough about it to determine whether or not it has merit. I mean, there has to be some investigation to determine that it doesn't have merit. I will tell you, and I'm not saying anything, and I don't mean to demean Mr. Wrights. Mr. Wrights himself advised me that he was extremely upset and very frustrated, and so any statements that he may have made were out of frustration. And I can understand where he might have been. But by him making that comment, it makes me question his credibility.
Sorry.
Somebody just, oh, I'm sorry, okay. But nobody's asked Kathy Wrights whether or not it happened. And unless we have an investigation, nobody will be able to. Is that correct, Jennifer?
Based on where we are, based on this complaint that you have before you that was filed, just looking at it, that's what you're determining whether it has merit, whether this complaint, that piece of paper that you have before you, whether it does not have merit, or whether it has sufficient merit to warrant further investigation.
Fine. Would you like for me to read to you the 6-page complaint that I originally received? I don't think that it would leave one iota of a doubt in your mind as to the appropriateness of pointing a city employee to the appropriate grievance policies in our manuals.
Again, I'm not saying that you did anything inappropriate. I'm saying that we don't have, what we've got here is a complaint made by Kevin Mack based on some comments made by Ms. Wright's husband. What I would like to see is somebody just go to Ms. Wright and say, is this what happened? I haven't talked to her.
She's quite a big girl. She's capable of speaking for herself.
Well,
I don't know what her relationship is with her husband and whether she authorized him to talk for her or on her behalf or not, but this has not been hidden. It's been well publicized. I think the fact that she has taken 2.5 weeks and not said a word to a commissioner speaks volumes right there.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask that we just put this on again in the same form in the next commission meeting, and I will take the opportunity to go speak with Ms. Rice directly, and I believe that will give me an opportunity to make a decision as to whether or not there's legitimate cause for any kind of further investigation. And I would suggest that any commissioner at this table, and this is per Ms. Flowers, has the right to go talk to his rights and make sure that that's not an issue. Anybody